this game there would be opportunities for Jalen to run more, or did that just evolve, opportunities presented itself?
Yeah, I think it was just within the normal flow of the game. You know, Jalen always has a great feel for being able to extend plays and make plays with his legs and, you know, use everything he has at his disposal to be the best player that he can possibly be. So, you know, fortunately for us, we were able to convert a couple third downs and, you know, make some plays with his legs that everyone's accustomed to seeing him do.
What do you feel like DeAndre gives you, Swift gives you in the receiving game? Obviously, he did a lot of it in Detroit. Didn't really do much till the last couple of weeks, but we've seen him get more involved. Is that a conscious thing? And what makes him so good at it?
Well, he's a very dynamic player. You know, he has excellent hands. He can make plays out of the backfield. Catching the ball, you know, obviously he's an explosive runner. So, you know, just as many times as we can try to get the ball into his hands with you know, opportunities to create big plays in space, and he's done a fantastic job to this point in the season. And you know, we just got to continue to try to find just unique opportunities to get him the ball in space.
The passing offense has been really clicking in the last 2 weeks. Do you have a tangible sense that you and Jalen are getting more comfortable in terms of like play calling, and he's expecting what you're expecting? You know, like this.
Yeah, I think, you know, our biggest thing is, you know, we talked about this a lot last week, was just having that growth mindset and continuing to grow together as a unit. And, you know, obviously we have a bunch of really talented players and a bunch of guys that can do different things and unique skill sets. But, you know, I think it's just continually finding ways to adapt, finding ways to grow, and doing it together.
You guys are top 10 in most categories, with the exception of red zone. 2 for 5, 2 for 6, depending on that last drive, which you're kind of trying to drain the clock. But anything you can put your finger on as far as what other teams are doing versus?
Well, I think particularly there hasn't been one thing that's, you know, prevented us from scoring the touchdowns that we need to score down there, you know, which we all know we're capable of doing. So for us, it's really just a balancing act of, you know, we got to do a great job of putting the plan together and putting those guys in a position to make plays. You know, secondly, we got to do a great job of executing, and then we have to be great in our operation, whether that's in and out, making the proper checks, putting those guys in a position to be successful on the down in and down in bases down there. You know, but ultimately, for us, we know that's an area that we got to continue to improve. And, you know, you see us kind of moving the ball, you know, in between the 20s and doing a nice job in some areas, but that's definitely an area of focus for us to continue to get fixed.
If I can follow up on that, from the outside, we kind of lump the whole red zone together. As a play caller, do you differentiate between the high red zone and the low red zone in your play calling? Because the numbers are different in those 2 areas.
Yeah, the numbers change, you know, and I think just red zone defense is really predicated on, you know, when does the defense change? You know, when do they go into, you know, their particular calls for the red zone? I mean, it's a different game down there. Obviously, the field strengths is the one area of the field where, you know, it becomes wider than it is longer. So, you know, football is a little bit different down there, but, you know, like I said, we got to do a great job of putting our guys in a position to make those plays and to create favorable matchups for us, and we got to do a great job of executing as well.
How long was that conversation on the sideline about whether to go for it on 2 seconds left before the half?
Not very long. You know, it's just really trying to see where the ball was. You know, at that point, you're all in. You know, it's 1 play left in the half. You're either kicking it or you're scoring. So, you know, Nick made that decision, and we went with the play we had a lot of confidence in, and the guys did a great job of being able to execute it and cap off a really, really impressive drive to end that second quarter.
What are the greatest strengths of the Jets defense?
Well, they have really talented players. They're obviously well coached. They have talented players. They play hard. They're physical. You know, so anytime you're going against, you know, an opponent, you know, that has really, really talented players at all three levels of the defense, you know, it can present different challenges to you. So, you know, a very, very confident group in how they play defense. You know, they're in good spots and they're physical and they play hard. So, you know, anytime we go against a defense like that, it'll obviously be a challenge for us, but a challenge that our guys are looking forward to, going out there and competing at a high level.
In Goddard's case, a big difference for him was yards after the catch. Did you do anything as a play caller to get him with his body facing forward as opposed to the back of the defense?
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you can get, you know, Dallas opportunities to run with the ball in his hands, he's extremely hard to tackle. And, you know, the game kind of played out like that this week. He got a couple balls early, you know, and capped off the first drive with a great touchdown catch in the tight red. And, you know, he's a fantastic player. And like we've kind of been saying all along, it's kind of, you know, it'll be law of averages here once you get a huge sample size. And Dallas had an opportunity to make a bunch of plays. He made them, you know, and that's what we expect from him is to go out there and continue to play at a high level like he has all season.
There's a pretty significant disparity between DeAndre and Kenny in terms of yards per carry. Is there enough at 5 games in to make something of that, and do you need to reevaluate the rotation there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you know, we understand that we need everybody we have on offense for us to reach the goals that we want to reach. And you know, we have a ton of confidence in every player that we put out there on the field to go out there and do what we're asking them to do. And you know, I think Kenny played a really, really good game, particularly in stuff that did not go noticed on the stat sheet in terms of some of his protection, some chip blocks. I mean, I think probably one of the most impressive plays in that game was his third down conversion. He got a great chip block on Aaron Donald, released late to the flat, and then, you know, made a guy miss and was able to convert the first down and keep us on the field. So, you know, every player that's out there for us, we have a ton of confidence in. Kenny's done a great job. DeAndre's done a great job this year, and you know, we're just fortunate to have backs that we feel like we can put out there and roll.
Talk about
Nick
roles
had-
here a lot. What role do you want that number 3 wide receiver to fill?
Yeah, you know, I think they have to be ready to make plays, you know, when the ball comes their way. And, you know, for us, like, again, we have confidence in whoever we put out there. I think we feel like we have guys that can go out there and be productive. You know, but obviously for us, with the talent and the skill that we have, you know, AJ, Devontae, and Dallas, and those guys are going to be the guys that get the majority of the targets, you know, and stuff that we design. But, you know, for us, I think, like we said before, is having all 5 kind of skilled players contribute in a manner to the offense within the normal flow of the offense is always a positive.
Nick had mentioned the intangible nature of Quez being on the field. What does that look like to you when you're watching the film as far as creating that space?
Yeah, I mean, well, he's obviously one of the fastest guys in the NFL, and you know, he has some ability to take the top off the middle of the coverage. And again, you know, some stuff that Quez does that does not show up on the stat sheet. You know, you look in that second half, there were a couple runs where, you know, he made some blocks to make some big runs happen and spring some big runs in the run game as well. You know, first play of the game, he had a catch on a bubble. So, you know, it was his first game back, coming back off injury. But like I said, we got a lot of confidence in everybody we put out there.
How did Sua play?
How did Sua play? Sua played awesome. It was a fantastic job by him, being ready when your number's called. You know, to get the start and play against who he played against was quite a challenge. And you know, I think the entire offensive line stepped up and did a fantastic job against generational talent. And you know, those guys were excited for that opportunity, excited for that challenge, and it was great to see them play well.
He's got another tough matchup with Quinton Williams this week. I guess the stretch of interior rushers that he's faced, is there any benefit, you know, if at all, to like having them back to back, and the plan can maybe be similar?
Well, again, I think you always, you know, try to put guys in a position, where they can let their talent show, and try to create plans that give us the best opportunity to do what we need to do to win the game offensively. So, and that's just the nature of this league. I mean, every team has great players, and for us, being a group of men who like to compete, welcome those challenges of being able to play against the best. I think anybody, that plays this game or that does anything, quite frankly, at a high level, looks forward to those types of challenges and opportunities to go out there and show what you can do.
As a follow-up to that,
Last one.
Kelsey was talking about how intricate the game plan is when they face a guy like Aaron Donald. For you, what's the work like behind the scenes, whether it's with Stoutland, Nick, Kevin Poole, whoever it is, in putting those game plans together for those types of players?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a challenge. I think you just have to flip your mindset in terms of, what the goal is and what we're trying to accomplish as an offense. And again, putting everybody in a position to where they can go play and let their talent shine. And I think Stout, Kevin, everybody involved all recognize that. And there's a certain level of respect that goes into that, and there's a certain level of competitiveness that goes into that to going out there and being able to compete against a great player on a consistent basis. So, I think that's something that obviously was taken into account prior to the week, and the guys did a nice job of executing it.